Hi, I'm Rick Rheins from Temple Sinai in Denver, Colorado. This week in the Torah portion, we open the beginning of the book of Exodus, the book of Shemot, known as the book of names in English. And it refers to all of the children of Israel who are now in Egypt. And that should be a good thing because Joseph set them up in the land of Goshen with all of the hope and the security that he could supply. But that generation passed, and Joseph passed, and a Pharaoh arose who knew not Joseph. And all of that security and all of that safety and all of that prosperity went away. We've experienced that many times in our Jewish history. Well, there's one story about this Pharaoh who arose who knew not Joseph. He had an anti-Semitic zeal, a hatred for the Israelite people. He commanded all the midwives to kill the baby boys as they were born. Now, Shifra and Pua, two of the midwives, they heroically stood in Pharaoh's way and rescued the baby boys. And in order to save their baby boy, Moses, Yocheved took this baby and put him in a little basket and floated him in the Nile River, hoping that some way he would be saved. Well, he was. Pharaoh's daughter took him up and raised him with the help of Miriam. So here was Pharaoh who tried to kill the Israelite people, but his own daughter had some compassion in her heart. She saw something about the cry, the vulnerability of that baby. And that helps us realize that not all the Egyptians were like Pharaoh. The story then turns to Moses, this man who was a Hebrew, abandoned by his family, raised by Pharaoh's court, who then, in a fit of outrage, tried to save some Israelites who were being oppressed, beaten by this overseer. There was a charge of manslaughter, so Moses fled into the wilderness to avoid the persecution. And there he eventually met Zipporah, the daughter of Yithro, a Midian priest. And Moses then was a shepherd for Yithro in the middle of the wilderness. So here's the situation. Moses, abandoned as a child, raised as an orphan child, who knew he was a Hebrew because of his sister and mother, but he wasn't raised with the Hebrews. He didn't have that connection. He didn't have that kinship. Accused of a crime, now a shepherd all alone. Maybe he had forgotten all about his family. Surely the Israelites back in Goshen did not remember Moses. And it was in that setting, the beginning of chapter 3, that Moses, still sensitive, reeling, perhaps despairing of his situation, saw this bush that was burning and yet not being consumed. And he said, Asurana, I'm going to turn to see, to see what this Mareh HaGadol is, this great wonder. He was a man who was sensitive enough to consider things that were going around him and to consider the meaning and the purpose and the significance of them. He was curious about life. He had not given up, because that sign of turning and considering shows that he was still interested in what might happen to him in his journey. From that burning bush, God called out and said, Moshe, Moshe. So this angel of God reached out to Moses. Now Moses could have thought, you know what, I'm imagining things here. But no, he said, Hineni, I am here. What is this all about? Now that voice from the bush then said, Moses, you're not forgotten. You have a role. You may be in the wilderness, but don't despair. Don't give up on you. There are people who need you. They need someone who will be a hero for them, who will lift up their spirits, because they are kotzer ruach v'avodah kasha. The harsh labor of the Egyptians are breaking their spirit, and they need someone to infuse them with hope, who bring them from servitude to freedom, from the land of slavery to a promised land. Now Moses says, how could I possibly be that person, and argues with this voice, as we might all, considering I'm not good enough, I have a speech problem, they don't know me, they're going to reject me. And the voice keeps reassuring him, don't give up. Don't give up. Moses finally says, well, what will I even say who you are? And then the answer is, Ehyeh asher ehyeh. God says, Moses, tell them, Ehyeh, I will be, asher ehyeh, what I will be. Ehyeh is the imperfect or the uncompleted form of the verb lehiyot, to be. I am what I am. I will be what I will be. I am what I will be, or I will be what I am. It has different connotations. And indeed, in Midrash Rabbah, Rabbi Yitzhak said, the 3 times we have that verb used, Ehyeh, I will be, or I am, it's 3 times. One, it says, Ehyeh imach, I will be with you. And then, Ehyeh asher ehyeh, I will be what I will be, or I am what I am, reassuring Moses that I am with you, I have been with you, I'll continue to be with you in the future. 3 times it's repeated, past, present, and future. This past week, on Wednesday, we saw thugs, rioters, who stormed our Capitol building, who threatened our democracy, who tried to take over our government, to intimidate the legislators, the lawgivers. And there are many of us after this year of riots, of violence, of the pandemic that has been so cruel that it has killed well over 300,000 Americans. More Americans have died of this COVID pandemic than all of the soldiers who were fighting for the United States died in the World War II. It's that kind of pandemic, that kind of pain, that kind of financial burden, emotional burden that we've suffered. And it can lead to a despair. It can lead to a sense of, what is it all about? I might as well give up. I'm all alone. I'm forgotten. There's no meaning and purpose anymore. Well, the Torah comes to teach us that there are burning bushes everywhere. It's up to us to stop, to turn and consider them. And it is from that consideration that we need then to respond, Hineni, I'm here. I do have meaning. I do have purpose. I will not give up. I know, Ehyeh imach, God will be with me. God has been with me. I'm here for a meaning and purpose. This nation was shaken because there are those who try through the force of their arms and the bullying to try to cower us, that we don't matter, that our voices won't count, our votes won't be counted, but they will count. We saw yesterday, Wednesday, and then today on Thursday, going on into this weekend, we have seen the worst of this nation. We also saw the best of this nation. We have seen how bullies come to steal our votes, and we have seen how men and women, Republicans and Democrats, stood together, a joint session in the House, and they stayed up until the middle of the morning, until 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and confirmed the vote, accepting the electors and naming a new man as president, a new man who hopefully will be a healer for our nation. Never give up. There are times of hardship, and we recognize those. But the Torah says our greatest leader, Moses, had every reason to give up, but he stopped and he turned and he responded, Hineni, I'm here. We should each be here for each other, for the future, for our nation. May God bless you.